Reed Fallon on tenor saxophone, everybody. Okay, so this next piece we commissioned last spring in the winter. As I recall, Dr. Astoriado, I think, recalls it a little bit more clearly. The composer is a guy named Jeff Keyser. Jeff Keyser just won the Grammy for Best Instrumental Composition this year for his new album, tune of his new album. And it's the same Grammy that's been won by people like John Williams and so on. It's a really big deal that Jeff won this award. Thankfully, we commissioned the piece before he won the Grammy. So we were actually able to afford him. And a little background on Jeff and this amazing, amazing musician. I knew Jeff when he was 12 years old because I had the great fortune of going to school where his dad taught, the great Ron Keyser, great drum set and percussion teacher. And Ron and his wife Mary, who was a professional French horn player, started their son playing piano at a very, very young age. So he had an advantage because he had two master musicians as his parents. And of course, they brought him over to the university, a very fine music school, and started giving him piano lessons. There were no jazz piano teachers at the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire, so he studied with the great Penelope Cucini playing piano. And as Jeff said in a recent interview, he said, she'd give me these Beethoven piano sonatas, and I'd work on those for a little while, and then I'd go start playing McCoy Tyner and Thelonious Monk and the rest of the great jazz musicians, and then I'd come back to Beethoven a little bit later. Saying that, when he graduated from high school, Jeff could play all the Beethoven sonatas. He is a musician of extraordinary ability and technique and vision and so on. So when I was in graduate school, he was, as a high school student, he was in the big band that I was in. And I played gigs with Jeff in the past. He was always the best soloist in the band. It didn't matter how old he was or anything like that. And so then he leaves because his dad had gone to the Berklee College of Music. He went to Berklee College of Music, and he was roommates with the great Roy Hargrove, great trumpet player there. And he was there for about 5 minutes. And he got a phone call in the same week from the great Miles Davis, who I hope you all know who that is, great jazz trumpet player. And then some of you might know this person, the great Art Blakey, who among jazz musicians is a total genius. And his band is called the University of Blakey. So an 18-year-old Jeff Keyser had to decide, am I going to begin my professional career with Art Blakey or Miles Davis? And then Miles Davis means instant startup. That's you'll be on the cover of Downbeat and all that stuff. And he chose Art Blakey instead because he's such a pure musician. Nothing wrong with Miles Davis, pretty good, and all that stuff. He decided to go with Blakey. Since then, he's been one of the leading jazz piano players in the world and one of the leading composers. It's an honor to know him and an honor to have him write this piece for us. He's been coaching us along the way. We had a great Zoom session with him not very long ago, and he was up on the big screen and all that stuff, sort of like God looking down on the students here and telling them, like, well, that was close and all that stuff. And the idea behind this piece was because we have such, well, first of all, I'm sorry I'm talking so much about this, but first of all, I don't believe in labels for music. I think it's dumb. We call something classical, we call something jazz, we call something rock, and all that stuff. Shoot, it's all just trying to get to our emotions a little bit and make us feel something. And I don't care if it's the Beatles or Beethoven or Bach or John Coltrane. It doesn't matter to me as long as it's well done and interesting to listen to. I'm in. It doesn't matter to me. So the great Maria Storiado and I were talking, and I said, wouldn't it be fun to have a piece written for classical piano, jazz bass, because we have this incredible jazz bass teacher at our school, and the band. And then she said, I'm in. Yeah, that sounds fantastic. And I asked these other two if they'd be interested, and they said yes. And so here we are with this piece. This is the world premiere of this piece. So let me bring out the two, because they both deserve a little bit of their own accolades. Oh, I guess they're already out here. On bass, one of the legendary bass players in the whole country. He teaches bass at our school, but this guy has played with everybody. If you have a question about, what's it like to play with, and then just name the legendary jazz musician, he can fill you in. The great Scott Lee, everybody. And you can't ask for a better colleague than this person. She's always smiling. She's always up. I don't know how she does it. I don't think she ever sleeps. Just an incredible, it's an honor to know her. The fabulous Dr. Maria Estrella. This is Jeff Keezer's Hibiscus.
Oh my God.